Hi there guys, Junky here, and we are back with more Napoleon Total War on Darth Mod. And today, I'm playing as the Danes, and the Tyrant is playing as Prussia. When we initially started playing, we said no France or Britain, just to kind of try out some of the other factions and generally see what's going on. I'll put it in slow motion for now so I can run through my army setup. Very similar to my last one. I've got these 2 units of 12 pounder foot artillery in my centre, with 2 units of these, 1 unit of lifeguard foots and Norwegian Fusiliers as well. There's another Darth Mod unit, very much like the Marines in my last video. They do have very good shooting. I've got 3 more units of line infantry over here, 1 lifeguard foot with 2 Norwegian Fusiliers, and I've got 2 units of sharpshooters as well. In addition to my infantry, I've got a 12 pounder howitzer to support this left side. And over to the right, we have 2 units of, we've got 1 unit of the Fusiliers and another unit of this Marine Corps. These guys look pretty badass with their top hats. And we've got 2 units of cavalry as well. We've got mounted Jaegers and Lancers on this side, with some sharpshooters as well. I think we've only got 1 unit of the sharpshooters on this side, and 1 unit of lifeguard heavy horse, general staff, and our main cavalry reserve on the left side will be these Lancers, Queen's Lifeguard Dragoons, and another mounted Jaegers. So on this side I've got 2 units that can shoot off horseback, and this side I've only got 1. Off the bat I realised that these artillery pieces were not in the right place, so I decided to reposition them. As for the Tyrant's army, he's moved off in a beautiful column formation with his main infantry body. He's got 6 units of musketeers led by an elite unit of foot guards. These guys are very, very tough in whatever engagement he chooses to put them in. In the centre he's got 12 units of the 12 pounders. Again, not as many upgrades as the last battle, but still very potent indeed. And he is screening with these 2 units of Jaegers. As for the rest of these units that we can see at the moment, we've got 1 unit of these cuirassiers, heavy horse for the Prussians, and 4 units of these musketeers on his far left flank. He does have a few more hidden units, but we'll see those as they appear. As again with the last battle, I favour my left side. We were actually speaking about this before, and on quite a lot of the Total War games I instinctively go to the left side. For some reason, I don't know, I feel a little bit more comfortable doing that. It doesn't really make much sense. But anyway, we're going to rush up to this hill, set up our sharpshooters to engage his Freikorps, and generally make this a hill of death for any Prussian soul that seeks to attack. And that's the main reason why I brought these howitzers as well. I do remember playing this map a lot back in the day when we were playing this a lot more, mostly on the native version of the game, and it was quite hilly, so I thought I would bring over some 12 pound, some of these howitzers, so I can lob death over these hills. As on this side, moved up my boys a little bit more to the edge of this tree line, and I believe they're opening up these units of Freikorps here. However, the range is just not going to work there. And on the far right I do move up my cavalry as more of a distraction than anything else. I see that his Freikorps are isolated and sent in a charge with these Lancers to get them out of the fight. However, the Darth Mod seems to give your musketeers a little bit more range, and I generally was quite foolhardy with this move. So I'm going to take a lot of losses in this unit, and actually they will rout before they can take the Freikorps down, but hopefully they will return. again moved a few of my skirmishers a little bit further out to engage a bit further with his units. He's got a huge amount of line infantry over on this side. I'm going to have to be really careful about how I pick this engagement, as numbers and just general amount of shot that's going to be flying down range is definitely going to be in his advantage. These lancers do return, as you can see. One of my 12-pounders actually routes from his a combined battery of those 3 units in his centre. I'll get those remounted up on their positions and firing in very soon. Taking a few shots from these Jaegers on this right side, but this time I am going to catch his Jaegers unaware with this lifeguard of horse. Very, very hardy unit, very tough indeed. And these Freikorps will not stand for very long. I'm going to send in these lancers as well to finish off the job. But obviously don't want us to be making the same mistakes twice, so we are going to pull those guys out as soon as possible. He starts to envelop the hill that I'm on, so I'm going to spread out my line infantry. Seeing as these guys are mounted and they do have their carbines, we're going to start opening up with these guys as well. On this musketeer unit, got solid kills off that volley, despite the fact that most of our guys couldn't see what the fuck they were doing, which is what we like to see. We've got all of our guns are still operational. However, we won't be able to move these cannons anymore, but we're going to keep pounding away. I believe at his artillery. Yeah, it is at his artillery. I think I used the barrage ability on that one to make it a little bit more accurate. He charges forward with his own heavy cavalry, including this Uhlans unit, which was hidden before. I managed to pull out my sharpshooters and intercept with these lancers and lifeguard horse, and this is going to be a very, very even fight. But then I rush in my Norwegian Fusiliers to seal the deal. So I should be doing quite well in that fight. Should have really have been running these guys. And I did move up my 2 reserve units of infantry onto this side as well, so we've got a bit more of a spread out flank on this side, with our 3 pieces of artillery providing close fire support and also morale damage for these engagements. These Norwegian Fusiliers will open up now. That smoke. And this musketeer unit is not looking too great. I noticed it on the mini-map, and I believe I would go for an outflanking move on this side. I was putting a few more shots in with the aim to kind of move round into his artillery again, seeing as mine are taking quite a pounding at the moment. Back over to the right flank. This melee fight is still going on. Both my cavalry units routed off the field. But we're going to move in these Marine Corps, which are just insanely good melee fighters, to finish off these 2 units of horsemen. And what I tried to do here was these 2 units of horse that are on this side, I tried to run them across and into his cannons. However, they were obviously in range of these musketeers and took a serious pounding, and these guys are going to lose a lot in this initial volley, losing 20 men and didn't even get close. So big mistake on my part, but that's alright. Another mistake happens when he manages to slip one of his cuirassiers into my artillery. That'll render them pretty much useless for the rest of the battle, I believe. And I have to move off an entire unit of line infantry to intercept, which puts a lot more pressure on these units up here. And as his line infantry are getting closer and closer, I'm going to start retreating. I'm sharpshooters away from the advance, and let my line infantry do the rest of the work. You'll see here that these guys aren't screaming, and that's because I don't want to make him hear the charge. If you click an attack order with horsemen, or anyone really, they start yelling a fuck ton, and you can hear that across the battle. Which can also, well, I mean, if you're trying to surprise someone, it might fuck you over. You can hear the screams from here. Got a solid few shots into these artillery. He's got a few. He's advancing up with most of his musketeers. We've got our Queen's Lifeguard dragoons, which are a very tough elite cavalry unit here, and they'll do very well in this fight. As for the right flank, I realised that if I didn't move, I was quickly going to lose these units, so I retreat my Fusiliers and the remaining sharpshooters and marines up onto this hill to take the place of my cannons as a fire base for the left flank of his main advance. And it sounds like, yeah, that's a charge. Charging uphill after losing the firefight, and my guys are going to pile in downhill. We'll get a charge advantage from that, just due to the fact that we're running downhill. The rest of these units are going to take an absolute pounding. My howitzers are doing very, very well so far. Focus firing on this unit of musketeers, trying to get it down. Run out of ammo at this artillery fight. The Queen's dragoons and mounted Jaegers did an absolutely fantastic job. They cleared the area away. I think they took down its general, one whole unit of these musketeers, and all of his artillery. So it's not looking good for him in the rear fight again. These sharpshooters are going to take a pounding. He's got a three-way going on, and they're going to rout off the field. But as for my right flank, I'm really starting to fight a delaying action. I know that these units are probably going to lose this head-on, but I need to keep these 4 units even away from the main fight, so I can make sure that I've got these solidly in the bag. And it seems to be going pretty well so far. We routed one of his units on the left. On the far left, I'm going to pile in 3 Fusiliers into this one, and we're going to start to roll up the flank in general. Howitzers are now targeting the advancing infantry, and seeing that we're winning the left fight, I'm going to withdraw my marines and Fusiliers down the other side of the hill so they can start a new front, and charging down this unit of wounded lancers into the unexpected musketeers to further delay the action. And my 2 units at the back run down these Jaegers and then continue on into the rear of his musketeers on this side. Charging uphill won't give us as many kills, but these guys are bloodthirsty. They've had many victories so far, and rout off these musketeers. Pure intimidation. At this point, one of his few remaining units are his elites, his foot guard, but they are under fire from my Marine Corps and are also about to get charged by cavalry, so they are going to rout for the time being. His remaining units include this unit of musketeers, which I think you forgot about. So the unit of musketeers that came back for routing, and this one as well. As it stands now, victory seems assured, but we will clean up nonetheless in the best fashion that I can see fit, which is to get my skirmishers. Which is to get my skirmishers up to the front, present a united front with all my infantry, and proceed that way. I believe he's got one more of these cavalry units around here somewhere, because it might be in these woods, maybe. But you'll see I'm starting to reorganise my infantry here into something that looks a little bit more organised. It does allow a few of his units to return, including this foot guard unit here, which I don't see until it's a little bit too late on this right side, but we'll see that in a second. So I need to reorganise my lines, bringing down my troops from the left hill. For the amount of damage they did, they've done surprisingly well. Yes, these musketeers, that's what I was thinking about. These musketeers have returned from routing and they're going to plough straight into my howitzers. I see that, move my general forward to get out of the way. I was scouting with these horsemen here on the right side and just didn't see his foot guards, so these horsemen are going to take a serious pounding. Just looking at the battlefield so far, you can see there's huge cavalry engagement early on. You can also see my failed lancer charge, death of his artillery, and the general mess that was the fight for this hill all along the way.
Our men are running.
So here come the musketeers. I do turn them round onto a canister shot, but they've just fired a volley, so I don't. Oh no, they ran away. Excellent. I thought that they got caught. You can see my horsemen are getting fired upon by these foot guard and remaining musketeers. So I'm going to present a united front and start to slowly micro my way forward. Everyone's pretty tired at this point, so I'm going to try not to run. Got our sharpshooters up ahead to open up the main engagement. These two units on this left side to bait anything that does come over the hill, and we're going to move round onto this location with this unit of Norwegian Fusiliers. Now, I know the Tyrant quite well, and when it comes to these desperate times, the melee charge is imminent. So what I do is I move up these two units to bait the charge, set up a firebase with this one, retreat with these Fusiliers. This will allow my Norwegian Fusiliers on this side to get a few shots in on these musketeers before we charge back in. Those musketeers are going to go for my howitzers again. Come on, you bastards. We retreated far enough that he's out of cover, and now this unit of musketeers is going to pay dearly for its life when they decide to open fire. I think everyone's still reloading at the moment. Fire, you bastards! There we go. One volley, instant rout. These musketeers will not stand either. It's got into my howitzers on this side. I'm going to pull off a unit of line infantry to go and deal with that, or actually not. I'm going to use my cavalry to do so. These line infantry units are holding at a stalemate on that side, and I'll try to use the same tactic again on the left with these guys return to stay. So we will get everyone stuck in this unit of musketeers. And the united front of the Danish and Norwegian Empire, or the Danish and Norwegian Empire standing strong. He sees that there's not really much else you can do, and the Tyrant pursues the melee charge, because I'm basically being a dick and refusing to charge myself. But as it is with quite a lot of these musket or even ranged Total War games, if you fire first and you have the defensive advantage, you're generally going to win. And when it comes to the end stats, I deployed just under 2,000, he deployed 2,400, I lost about 1,000 and killed twice as many as he did. I'm not really sure how I killed that many people really, but my Life Guard of Foot did very, very well, and so did my mounted Jaegers. You can see from the last two battles that my two of my most effective units were ranged cavalry, and just having that mobility and being able to charge into range, open up with a volley and withdraw is just very, very, very crucial and important for my playstyle. If you've played Shogun 2, you'll know that when they brought in the mounted gunners and the Portuguese tercio cavalry, or whatever they're called, they completely changed the game. If you could use bow cavalry properly, they were also very, very lethal, and in Rome they're not so much. But if you can get a mobile force of horse archers with heavy shot into the side of, say, a pike phalanx or heavy infantry at close range when they're already engaged, it's going to cause a lot of damage. Anyway, that's the last of these. That's the last of these Napoleon Total War Darth Mod replays. The Tyrant played the other night. I hope you enjoyed them. Please like, comment and subscribe if you did enjoy the video, and hopefully we'll see you soon. This is Junky signing off for now. Goodbye.